Our next speaker is Markus Kitsinger with the iRODS Consortium, and his talk is entitled iRODS Build and Packaging 2026 Update.
This one's also not going to last for very long. My attention this year has been pretty divided, so I haven't put there hasn't been a whole lot to report on this year. So we're going to talk about what happened, and we're going to talk about what's going to happen. As for what happens, the big things are the iCommands are now back in the iRODS main repository. A long time ago, before I started working on iRODS, they were moved into their own repository for reasons that made sense at the time. It was the right move, and now it's the right move to move them back. So we did that. For the Python iRODS client, we have implemented automated linting for Python using Rough, which necessitated us writing a wrapper for Rough that made it more Git-centric, kind of like the wrappers that exist for Clang Tidy and Clang Format. You can look at that if you're curious about how that works. We added support for Enterprise Linux 10 and Debian 13. We migrated some more dependencies from externals to system packages, including CMake, fmtlib, spdlog, and JSON, catch2, Redis. And it turns out we were never actually using our Redis externals package, so we got rid of that one completely. We added testing environment support for new versions of Postgres and MariaDB. And we also migrated our externals build process to distro-provided compilers and the packaging process to NFPM from FPM. And we did a build and packaging consistency sweep for the Globus connector. It had not received much love in that department, so it's good to get that done. As for what's next, if you watched my talk last year, a lot of this stuff will look pretty familiar. UGM2026 support, that's the big thing that's coming up as soon as we can, so we can get 5.1 out. We've got more dependencies to migrate over to Find Package. We're going to reduce library so-name versioning to major and minor components only. That's something that we were planning to get in for 5.1. We're not sure if it will, though. Same for splitting the iCommand symlinks into a new package, because if you'll recall last year, we moved the iCommands into a different location and put symlinks in the original location. We need to update MungeFS for new CMake versions. We need to flesh out distro distill, which is the Python module that we created last year as a supplement to the distro module. We need to update the user space packager because it hasn't seen a lot of love in a while. We need to put our libraries in the normal locations on Debian and Ubuntu, because right now they are still in USRlib. We need init scripts for assisted viewless environments. We're going to put a main function in our plugins and libraries to provide build and runtime information to show the version of iRODS they were built against and the version of iRODS that is currently being used, and their own versions. We need proper CMake target names. If you want examples of that, look to the QT project. They do it pretty well there. We've got a lot of stuff in varlib iRODS that doesn't belong there. We need to split out. And we need side-by-side installable database plugins to make non-package installs a lot easier. We're going to put headers in our CMake target sources lists and some testing environment improvements. I don't think there was anything below that, but it looks like in the conversion to PDF, we may have lost a bullet item. So I'm going to assume that we didn't. I know I blew through that pretty quickly. Are there any questions?
Do we have any questions for Markus? Got one right here.
There was a talk earlier today about running our stuff via Apptainer and things in the supercomputer. Did you see anything in that talk that made you itch or wish was different or something? Did you?
No.
It mostly worked.
Yeah, I mean, as we continue working on more normal and boring, I expect there will be disruptions to people's workflows here and there, but on the whole, it should make things easier for people. So no, not really.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad that it just worked.
Got a question up here?
Okay, question. What is meant by iCommand source code merge back into the main iRODS Git repository? Or will the iCommands repository still exist?
It will exist in an archived state, but no further development will take place there. All iCommands development will take place in the main iRODS repository. So, like I said, a long time ago, before I started working on iRODS, in order to make sure that we could build clients outside of the main iRODS source tree, we moved the iCommand source code into its own repository. It was a move that, like I said, it made sense at the time. And now that, we're pretty solid, we're pretty sure that that's robust. We've got multiple clients that we're building now. We decided to move that back into the main iRODS source repository. And we did that in such a way so that all of the development history, all of the commits have been preserved. So you can still use git blame and whatnot if you're really curious to see how development has progressed without having to jump back and forth between repositories. So if you go to github.com/iRODS/iRODS, our iCommands live there now.
But we will still build a separate package.
It still does, yes, it still builds a separate package for the iCommands. We're not merging the packages themselves. It's just the source code repository.
Right. Question up here?
More nice to have than a must, but is there any plan for support for other architectures than x68, like ARM64 or something? So
that is something that people have been making a lot of noise about, and it's something that we're moving towards. It's not on the roadmap just yet. We need to get our current architecture, like our current distros that we support and everything. We need to get that into a normal and boring state, and then we can start looking at adding support for more architectures. I do believe there's a few places here and there where we assume x86 64 in the code itself that needs to be cleaned out and that sort of thing. So, we're planning on doing it. It's just we don't know when we're going to get to it.
Excellent. All right. One more.
Yeah, you mentioned Postgres 17 support and testing phase. What's the current recommended Postgres version to run an iRODS production environment on?
I think we support all the way back to Postgres 14. We don't recommend a specific version of Postgres. We just try to make sure that we test against all of the LTS versions of the databases that we support. And with Postgres, I believe that they say, any of the latest minor release of any major version is what we should be testing against. So that's what we try to do.
15 significantly faster.
I'm not sure about that. Terrell says that he thinks that 15 was significantly faster. I never looked at the numbers for that, so I'm not really sure about that myself.
All right. Thank you.